my rowdy friends are here. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside. Brew Brothers, Wolfpack Coaches Show. Man, they're all here. This is great. Happy to have everybody here at the Row, the El Dorado, and Jeff Choate is here, the Wolfpack, going to Boise State in a nice, kind of a juicy matchup, I would say, with the Broncos ranked number 12 in the nation. That's coming up Saturday. That's a 6 o'clock Mountain, 5 o'clock kickoff here. Mike Edwards and I will start at 4 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Pacific kickoff. And Wolfpack fans, if you're not making the trip to Boise, you should listen to that game on 105.7 as you go attend the basketball game at 7 o'clock at Lawler Event Center on Saturday night. So we've got a big Wolfpack sporting weekend on tap. Coach Choate, welcome.
Thanks, John.
How's it going? How's practice today?
It's been good. It's been good. We had actually pretty spirited practice today. We had some competitive periods at the end of practice, and they got after it pretty good.
The spirit of the team, right? You have to kind of manage that, but as you have said before, the student athletes bounce back after a defeat quicker than the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Was this one at all any different, or are you guys just kind of, you have your stride of preparation independent of the result?
Yeah, I think that routine really is your friend in season, and you got to kind of do it. Hey, this is what we do at 2 o'clock on Sunday. This is what we do at 4 o'clock on Sunday. This is what we do at 6 a.m. on Monday, and you just got to keep doing that.
We'll talk about the Boise State matchup and your history with that program, and Coach Ione's history with that program. But can we recap Saturday a little bit? Because I know we spoke at the end of that game on the post-game show, and it didn't start well for the Silver and Blue, but you guys did make that competitive, and I thought that was a testament to your competitive character.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still hurting over that one. We got them to a 3rd and long on our first possession.
Yeah.
We played one of the basic principles of defensive football when you're playing man-to-man is you got to have what we call levels of D. If you got 2 receivers, you can't play man-to-man on the same level because if they switch release, you're going to get picked, and that's a basic thing. We get picked, we give up the big play, and they score immediately on that, and then we don't have a post in a 3D coverage, which is kind of if you do that, you deserve to get beat.
Sure.
If you do that, you deserve to get beat. You got a guy that's got one job: get in the post, make sure that thing doesn't get over your head, and be deep as the deepest, wide as the widest. Man, that's what DBs do.
Sure.
And we spotted them 14 points in the first half. Played reasonably well on defense for the remainder of the first half. It was 17-0. We had a chance to get a score right at the end of the first half. I think that would have been impactful.
Yep.
And then we spotted 10 points right at the beginning of the second quarter. And then we closed it to a 2-score game. And,
yes.
And I'm thinking, okay. And then we've got some well-documented injuries. One of them, not as well documented, was to our kicker.
Right.
And our backup kicker kind of mishit a sky kick, and we gave him the ball right at midfield. And so I don't know how good Colorado State is, because I know we gave them a lot of points on Saturday night. And so, tip their hat. They were obviously came out victorious and played smarter and better and made fewer mistakes than we did. But that's the frustrating part, is when you spot team 10 points like we did at the beginning of the third quarter. What a different game that would have been if we could have put one in at the end of the first half to make it 17-7 and then come out and just play sound football and let it roll.
Let me do a little Oprah here, right? You and I share something in that our livelihood is public. That the nice part about that is your successes are public, not only yours, but your team, your organization, as you refer to it, your program, right? Mm-hmm. Those are public and can be celebrated by the community. So are your failures.
Yeah.
And I can just, in listening to your comments on Monday and even speaking with you now, some of the failures have more sustain than others. They stay with you a little bit longer.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that, that's how you learn in this business. One of the things, the lessons that I've learned the best as a coach usually have come as a result of some kind of disaster.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. Yeah. But if you don't have that, sometimes you don't really get to kind of lay all your warts and scars open and say, this is what we got to do to get better. And it's been a good week in that. I think I've spent some time with some players that I feel like can be a foundation for our future, and spent some time with our guys that are, approaching the end of their 3-yard run at Nevada, and want to make sure that everything that we do over these next 3.5 weeks is centered around sending these guys out with something positive to remember and creating momentum for our program into recruiting.
That was actually one of my points here for tonight. How you frame success, how you orient goals coming down the stretch. You've got 3 games left and you have a bye on the 16th. So you have time to really kind of drill down into what is the last 25% of your regular season here.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the orientation?
Well, I kind of challenged our guys on Sunday about, hey, I think each one of you should set some individual goals, as we go down the stretch here. Some things that you can check off and that are quantitative that you can measure over the next 3.5 weeks, so that you can say, hey, I did this, and that was my personal success that I was able to improve there. And we've got a great opportunity on Saturday. I mean, I think the environment's going to be really good.
Yep.
Saturday night national television game, Bronco Stadium, number 12 team in the country, Heisman Trophy candidate, and it's going to be a big challenge. They're a really good football team, and like I told our guys today, what we got to do is we got to strain and we got to finish every rep. That's what we have to do, and there's going to be some victories that we'll be able to celebrate on Sunday if we do that. Mm-hmm. And even if that doesn't happen on the scoreboard, there's going to be some victories that we can celebrate, and then we get a chance to catch our breath, and then we get Air Force coming into town, and we get a chance to go and play for the Cannon. And so I think that there's some really good things that can happen. We got Senior Day with Air Force, and then we've got the rival game. And I think that sets up to have these guys' attention and be able to go play some good football.
Okay, you mentioned attention, because that is, I mean, it's a long season.
Yeah.
Football is a deceptive grind if you haven't done it, because you think, oh, there's only 1 game a week. How much of a grind could it be? But there is maybe, is it mental fatigue that you have to battle a little bit at this point, or mental, a state of taxation?
Well, I mean, these guys' bodies are beat up. Mentally,
nothing.
they put a lot of their self-esteem is tied to what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, and as for us as coaches as well.
Sure.
And so it's being able to balance the relationships with the result. Am I making a difference? And am I doing the things that we need to do to push this program forward? And when I say me, obviously as the leader of the program, but also individually for the other assistant coaches, our support staff, and our players. And that's the challenge. It's like, okay, was I better today than I was yesterday? Did I make a step in the direction that's going to help this team be successful, and by result help me feel better about where I'm at? It's easy to get in the fetal position and not confront the tough realities of where you're at. The difficult thing is to get off the mat each week, and these kids have done that, and so I have a ton of respect for them for that.
I want to focus on the kickoff for 2 reasons. Not because I want to rake you over the coals, right? I know you coach.
I'll come back at you, John,
yeah, I know.
so we're fine.
It's a bit like when somebody misses a free throw or when a pitcher walks a batter, right? You don't need to coach somebody to say, hey, don't do that. Hey, don't miss free throws.
Right.
Hey, throw strikes. Like, they know. The players know. What's the leadership dynamic, maybe from the players to the other players on the sideline after something like that?
I think it was shock in that particular situation. We're busy trying to,
Sure.
hey, we just had a great stand on defense.
Yes.
I mean, literally, I was back over there patting those guys. We turned the ball over, and our guys stood up, and actually the guy missed the field goal. We were offsides, but for us to hold them to a field goal in that particular
huge.
situation
Yes.
that was a monumental task for our defense to be able to do that. And I was actually on the sideline kind of high-fiving those guys, pumped up about it, and honestly didn't really know what happened until you get to the point where you're like, okay, clearly we screwed this up. And the only thing that I saw at the end was, did the ball break the plane? Ironically, the exact same thing happened in the Boise State-San Diego State game.
On Friday.
The exact same thing. Except that as the guy touched the ball, it had already broke the plane, so it was a touchback.
Wow.
So talk about a game of inches.
Right.
And so, but it wasn't really that tough of a, there's sometimes that ball's in between. There's communication between a wedge guy.
Okay.
This was not a tough one. This was,
So that was my
here's
next
the
question.
guy, and the ball landed here.
Is it like baseball, 2 outfielders, somebody's got to call it?
Yeah, it is, but there's going to be territory that you own, right?
Sure.
And
so if it's at you, you don't have to
exactly,
call off.
yeah,
Okay.
it's my ball, right? And so ball in the middle, hey, me, you, there's a primary, there's a secondary, there's other communication that goes on if the ball's short.
Sure.
And it just, I mean, like frickin' Murphy's Law, man.
I mean, to be honest, and I said this on the broadcast, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
So, except for
Neither have I.
Yeah. You're a good sport to discuss it, because it was.
I didn't have a choice. You asked the question. John.
Yeah, but you could have said next. You could have said next question.
Yeah, I'll remember that.
Yeah.
That's on the table now.
Yeah, it is. All right. We're going to come back. We're talking about Boise State, and we're going to talk about the matchup, and we're going to talk about your history with the Broncos. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. We'll take a timeout. He's Jeff Choate. We're live at Brew Brothers Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. We're back live. We're inside Brew Brothers, inside the Row, the El Dorado. This is the Wolfpack Coaches Show. Jeff Choate is with us. The Wolfpack heading to 7-1 Boise State Saturday night. 5 o'clock kickoff here in Reno. It'll be 6 o'clock in Boise. Listen to Mike Edwards and me on 95.5 FM. Boise State is ranked number 12 in the nation. This is a very exciting matchup. We will talk about the challenge in a moment, but first we want to shout out our friends at Baselite. Looking forward to watching the Pack get out there and play. Call Baselite for any of your concrete products needs. 775-358-1200. Baselite, 775-358-1200. Next home game brought to you by Ryder Homes. Air Force on the 23rd. So not this Saturday, not next Saturday. Saturday the 23rd, the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And that's still a time to be determined on the kickoff. So come see the Falcons. For tickets, go to mynevadatickets.com. mynevadatickets.com. Okay, Boise State. Are they really the 12th best team in the nation?
I think they are.
Is Ashton Genty really the front runner for the Heisman? Should he win it?
I think he's front runner for sure. I mean, I think he's the real deal.
Yeah.
I've actually I've had the maybe good fortune, misfortune, whatever, to be on the other sideline from a number of Heisman Trophy winners. And so when I was at Florida, Jameis Winston beat us when he was they won the national championship at Florida State. And then when I was at Washington, Marcus Mariota. And so those kind of guys they're real players, and they show up big when it means the most, right?
It is special. Like Nevada opened at USC last year, and Caleb Williams was the reigning Heisman player. And that it is a special thing when you spend a life in college football. What's the game plan like for slowing down Ashton Genty?
Everybody's tried it. Nobody's succeeded.
I mean, he averages 8 yards a carry. I mean, that's no fun for you.
Well, I think the thing that's interesting is I actually do think he's a little beat up right now physically. Yep. But that doesn't matter because he's still the same guy. And actually, because as the year's gone on and the legend has grown, so to speak, more and more eyeballs get put on him. And so with him as the focal point of the offense, it actually creates a lot more opportunities for everybody else. The tight ends have been very good in the pass game. They spread the ball around really well. Madsen, the quarterback, threw for over 300 yards last week. And so, the old adage of great players make everybody around him better is very, very true.
Just to kind of close the thought on Genty, he's rushed for 1,525 yards on 190 carries. He scored 20 touchdowns. And he's averaging almost 191 yards per game, and that's with him dipping the last few games.
Yeah.
So this is new. It's not new for you.
I saw some graphic that said that Florida State had scored 19 touchdowns and Ashton Genty had scored 20.
Right.
And I was like, all right, well, that kind of says it all.
There you have it. Bud Light, proud sponsor of Nevada Athletics. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Boise State, you coach there.
Yeah.
What did this rivalry or what did this matchup mean from the Boise State perspective?
Well, we always had a ton of respect.
Yeah.
Absolutely ton of respect for Coach Alt and the Wolfpack. I mean, we knew it didn't matter what the season was like on their end, and usually it was pretty doggone good. But we knew a lot of times the championship in the WAC was going to go through Reno or it was going to come through Boise with Reno stopping by.
Yeah.
And I can remember, year one we were pretty good. And we came to Mackey and took care of business and ended up going to the Fiesta Bowl. Year two, Colin Kaepernick gets his first college start. We go to 4 overtimes. It was a legendary game. The crazy thing about that game is, number one, we had no answer. Zero answer for Colin Kaepernick.
Right.
And Justin Wilcox was our defensive coordinator at the time. And if the old press box at Boise State was there, if the old head press there was still a hole in the wall, I think that was courtesy of Colin Kaepernick frustrating us. But the kind of ironic and funny thing about that was at the end of that game, obviously they had to go for 2 to send it into a 5th overtime. And the guy that made the play, Tim Brady, this guy was a walk-on 4th-string linebacker. There is no way on his best day that he could put a pinky on Colin Kaepernick,
Yeah.
and somehow got this guy on the ground. And we'll tell you about it if you ever run into Tim Brady. I'm sure he'll tell you the story.
I'd lead with that at cocktail parties.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
But what a great game that
Yeah.
was. And then obviously the 2010 matchup
Sure.
was a fantastic game. And epic comeback by Nevada. So, yeah, we had a ton of respect for this outfit. And I think that was what it was all the way back to the Big Sky.
Sure. How many years were you with the Broncos?
I was there for 6 years.
6 years. Okay, so long enough to understand the character, the intrinsic value. You know what I'm talking about.
The culture of the program.
The culture of there's
Yeah.
there's a Nevada back, there's a Nevada grit, there's a Nevada tude that you
Yeah.
hear about. What is the Boise State, excuse me,
Yeah.
equivalent of that?
Yeah, I think it was the mindset of being blue collar.
Yeah. So
that
similar.
Yeah, it was very similar. I don't know that is still the same.
Sure.
I haven't been around the program for a long time. You can ask Kane; he was there the last couple of years.
I'm gonna.
And
Yeah.
but I know that there's a lot of pride there. That playing on the blue and wearing the blue meant something, and the hammer and some of those types of things that are symbols of that program. That there's been some great players in the recent past there, and we won a heck of a lot of games, man.
So this year's Broncos, 7-1, ranked number 12, 4-0 in the conference. I mean, they're not on a glide path, but they control their own path
Right.
to the Mountain West title game and potentially one of the 12 spots in the college football playoff. Is that something you want your side to think about as they maybe self-motivate?
Yeah, I don't know that does anything for anybody. I mean, I think that, if anything, that puts a little bit of pressure on Boise.
Sure.
I think that's the one thing that we always felt. We were in that position. I mean, we got ranked as high as number 4 at one point in time when I was at Boise State. And so there was kind of, as the year went on, the games got big. It didn't matter the opponent. The game got bigger and bigger, right? Because the stakes were higher, right? Yeah. And so that was something that we were fortunate to be in that position pretty much every year. And I think our guys got comfortable with that and understood what that meant. This is the first time this team has been in that situation in a long time.
You mentioned the atmosphere is it Albertson Stadium now?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Been a long time since I was there.
If you had to describe it, or will you describe it to your guys so that they're prepared?
It's funny because I can remember it being juiced. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
us opening the season playing Oregon there.
Yeah.
I can remember a Fresno State game. I remember a Nevada game where it was really, really rowdy. I have not been there in a long time.
Sure.
And so I don't know what the fan base as rabid? Is it, now that they have more luxury seating, is it more people drinking,
white wine
and cheese and crackers, or is it still blue collar Idaho? And I don't know the answer to that. I just have, again, maybe that's a better question for Kane. I haven't played there in a long time.
Sure. Well, we will. Kane Ione, defensive coordinator, will come up here, and he was on the staff last year. Mm-hmm. In fact, I guess that means he was practicing against Ginty most days. Yeah. So I'm actually kind of excited to talk to him about that. Where do you attack this team? I mean, is it as simple as making somebody else besides Ginty beat you?
No, because they will.
Yeah.
You got to be sound in all areas. I mean, I think he, like I said, he draws a lot of eyeballs. I think their defense is totally underrated. I think that's a piece that nobody's really talking about. I mean, everybody talks about Ashton and justifiably so. He's a tremendous football player. But I think their defensive football team is very talented and very underrated. They're one of the top teams in the country in sacks. They're
38 sacks in 8 games.
Yeah, they get after it, and they're very aggressive on first and second down. So they try to get you into those third and longs, and then they just kind of pin their ears back and come after you. And they've got some different things. They do some things stylistically that are kind of interesting. In terms of playing off coverage and bringing 6-man pressure and playing two eyes defenders or zone defenders underneath and 3 deep, and so they're very, very aggressive on defense. And so I think that's the thing that maybe not a lot of people. They create a lot of turnovers. They get a lot of negative plays with sacks, and that creates a lot of momentum for their offense.
Right. The 38 sacks, so it's 4.75 sacks per game. That's the best per game average in the nation. There's another team that has more sacks where they played an extra game. Forget what that other team is, but. You guys have had to kind of, you endured, I think, in the Fresno State game, specifically in the second half. I believe you called it a deep Rolodex, a lot of different looks from them when it comes to pressuring your quarterback on offense. Will you need to have had an improvement or an evolution to deal with this week?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to have some answers with the variety of different pressures that they bring, and I think there's a couple ways that you can deal with that on offense. There's going to be some formations that are more predictable than others that they'll have to they'll give you more standardized looks in, and that can help us, and then maybe doing some look back stuff where we can try to get into a better play than just guessing with them.
Is it helpful to have had maybe like that Fresno State game so that your players kind of understand the prescription that you can apply in a circumstance where you're seeing a lot of different looks?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's always going to be creative. It's all about finding the one-on-one matchup that's advantageous, right? And good defenses. I really believe this. I mean, I think the disguise is just as important as the defense. And I think that if you're really, really good on defense, that's something that you do better and better and better as you go through the season, because guys start to understand how the pieces come together, right? And they do a good job of that. They'll play what we call Oscar looks on one side, where they're playing off man at 8 to 12 yards, and then they're going to press you on the other side. And you're going, okay, what is this? And then they're inviting you to throw the ball to one side, but they're buzzing guys that are showing at the line of scrimmage. So it's it's kind of buyer beware. Yeah, that looks pretty tasty, but
buyer beware.
I don't know if I should do that or not, And so so that creates a little bit of doubt, and that hesitation is what they're counting on, because you hold the ball that extra second, and bingo, they got you.
Edwards always points out it's not really fair how the defense can move around once the offense gets set.
Yeah.
How the defense can move, Mike, after you get set on the offensive line, that's not fair. No, it's dastardly. Kane Ione, the defensive coordinator, is going to join us in a little bit. We're live with Jeff Choate. We are at Brew Brothers inside the row here in downtown Reno. Camelot Party Rentals makes it great so you can celebrate. Best selection of rental equipment for weddings and special events. Camelot Party Rentals, proud sponsor of the Wolfpack and our great friends at MMS, Events Unlimited Mobile Stage. They can elevate your concert, speaker, or special event. Book yours today at biggestlittlestage.com. Rise above the rest. We'll be back with Kane Ione and Coach Choate. You going to stay up here?
Sure, I'll stick around.
Oh, sporting of you.
Well, thanks,
I
Sean.
appreciate
Appreciate you.
We'll take a time out. Come on back to Brew Brothers after this. Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. We're back live inside Brew Brothers, inside the El Dorado, the road, downtown Reno. Wolfpack Coaches Show, Jeff Choate and the Wolfpack going to Boise State to take on the number 12 ranked Broncos. 5 o'clock kickoff here, Pacific time, 6 o'clock in Boise on Saturday night. Join Mike Edwards and me on 95.5 FM for the call. We'll have every snap of the action. Pack fans, Friends of the Pack is the NIL collective, providing support for Nevada athletes. To contribute or to learn more, go to friendsofthepack.com, friendsofthepack.com, supported by Choate Cleaning and Restoration of Reno. Kane Ione, the defensive coordinator, along with head coach Jeff Choate. To my immediate left, howdy.
How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for doing this.
Love being here.
I don't know if this is, I suspect this is brilliant guest booking production choices from Jeff Choate, because we got the Boise State matchup, and you were a coach there last year.
That is correct.
So it says right here, you helped oversee one of the Mountain West's top defenses over the previous 3 seasons, culminating in last year's Mountain West Championship. So you have defended Ashton Ginty in practice.
That is correct. We tried to, yes.
How
Yes.
was that? How much can you learn, and how much can you know from that?
You know, the best thing that I can learn from it is understanding how hard it is to do it at the end of the day, and knowing that it has to be all 11 guys, and actually we're going to try and sneak on 12 and 13.
Sure.
I think that will help us from a schematic standpoint if
Well,
we get that extra guy.
Yeah, that's
that
math.
always helps. Yeah, right. So +1, and every single scenario, we're going to be pretty good as far as defending it.
I mean, it takes a minute to count to 12, so if you can,
Yeah,
if you're,
exactly.
if you're quick
and
about
if quick,
it,
we can get a guy off the field quickly.
we won't say anything. That's
Hey,
good.
Everybody keep that secret. Keep it to us. Keep it between us. We'll be good there. We'll be solid.
Okay, now I have to mention this because this is in your bio as well, Kane Ione. 4-time All-American at Montana State, Big Sky Defensive MVP in 2003, Hall of Famer there, and you ended your playing career as the Big Sky's all-time leader in tackles.
It's been broken since, though.
Yes, it has been broken since.
Come on, Coach.
The
Well,
secret
and
to it.
the
I'll tell
funny
you-
part about that is that it was Robbie Houck, right?
Yes, 100%. From the rivalry and all that.
Okay.
The secret to success is getting to know your SID really well.
Now that's
So
the truth.
from a statistical standpoint, he was able to really help me out as much as he could. And so in turn, and I had unbelievable teammates that
Right.
made me look a lot better. And like I said, I had a great relationship with our SID, and the next thing you know, the accolades are coming. But I was very fortunate. I had a tremendous group of guys that I came in there with as a young freshman. We went through some trials and tribulations early, including an 0-11 season, and that core group of young guys, freshmen, redshirt freshmen, including one Joey Thomas, that is obviously our corners and secondary coach with me.
Yeah.
We went through that stuff together, and in turn, we were able to establish a foundation and a mentality. And over the course of the next 2 years, we went from 0-11 our freshman year to back-to-back Big Sky champions, and in turn helped the momentum of that program going in the right direction. And that's what I'm the most proud of when I think back to my career. Nothing to do with the individual accolades.
Sure.
It's all about what we were able to accomplish as a group and as a team, and just the foundation that we were able to set, and how we were able to really turn the momentum and the tide of that program in the right direction.
0-11.
0-11, that was-
Look, there are seasons where the team is under 500, right? That happens in football, but winless?
Winless. It's an accomplishment in itself.
I mean,
you really have to almost try to not win a game. And there was moments I felt like during that year that we were literally trying the way we were losing games, right? And so it was, it really tested you from a standpoint of your commitment to doing this thing called college football.
Right.
And your commitment to everything that comes with that.
Now, so 0-11, and Coach Choate, you'd mentioned, 3-9 your first year at the head coach?
I think we were 4 and 8.
So,
something like that.
But adversity is something you guys have endured and have managed to reverse.
Yeah.
Is that why Coach Ion's on this staff?
Well, it's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
We have history together, obviously.
Sure.
And, so I was talking to my wife the other night.
Shout out
she
Janet.
was like, shout out Janet.
Hi.
And she was talking about, gosh, I just don't remember it being this hard and this. And I'm like, Janet, do you have any idea how fortunate we've been in this profession? Like the highs that we've been able to experience, and the championships that we've been able to be a part of, and the playoff victories and the bowl games and all that, because that's the reality of college football for probably a good 75% of the coaches, is that it's a grind. You do it not because you're making a lot of money, but because you love the process and the relationships that you build. And that's what I know. That's what Kane is about. And that's one of the reasons why it was important for me to have him here.
So when you're 0-11, how sweet is the glory when you get that win? I mean, do you remember?
Yes, the first win, 100%.
Yeah,
There's the very next year,
right?
sophomore year, and we went down to Weber State and beat a very good Weber State team on their home field for our first conference win in however many years, and our first win, obviously, in a couple years. And the celebration we had as a team on that field was if we had just won the conference championship or the Super Bowl.
Right.
And you see instantly the memories start flashing back, right? Because all that hard work and all the hard moments and us being able to battle through that, and the accumulation of that in that moment was awesome. And then, like I said, 2 years later, we beat our rival, the University of Montana, on their home field to end what they had at that point had a streak beating the Bobcats 16 years in a row prior to that. And our group went in there and ended that streak on their home turf. And that's by far my favorite memory as a football player.
That's so cool. Now, as a coach, you've been a defensive coordinator for head coach Jeff Choate.
Correct.
On a team that had a lot of success in 2019 at Montana State. An 11-4 side that reached the national semifinals in a proper playoff that they have at the FCS level. You guys, or Jeff, you haven't talked too much about that team, at least not specifically on this program. What should we know about that great run you guys made?
I mean, it was very similar to the struggles that Kane talked about. The program had kind of had backslid and gotten to a place where there was a coaching change, and we were kind of talent poor, and the culture was a little bit broken, and we brought in a bunch of renegade kids, and I'm kidding. We brought in a bunch of hardworking Montana boys, and we ended up taking our lumps for a year.
Yeah.
And then it gradually got better and better and better, and that was the year that the pieces kind of came together, and we did something that hadn't been done since 1984, make it past the quarterfinals. The problem was we had to go to Fargo and play. Who was our quarterback that year? That was first round.
That was Trey Lance, and then Christian
wide
Watson.
receiver was another first round draft pick.
Yeah,
so
and they had multiple NFL guys on the defensive side.
But it was fun. Yeah.
But I think,
great year.
And I know Coach Choate would attest to the fact that everybody on that team, we were all aligned and knew exactly the direction that we were going. And we all knew the steps in which we had taken to get to that point and the steps in which we had to continue to take in order to get those breakthrough wins and get us to those semifinals. And so we've been there. We've been a part of something that wasn't where it was supposed to be, knowing that where we wanted to take it, and we know that the struggles and adversity is going to come. But we also know how to face that adversity as a group and get everybody continuously aligned and going in the right direction.
Having that experience, does that make maybe the more challenging moments this season and in this process? I mean, is that how you're able to make sure things are still moving in the right direction and cohesively?
Yeah.
I mean that's a huge part of it, right?
100%. So you got to continue to just focus on the process.
Yeah.
Focus on, as Coach alluded to, the relationships and making sure that you are striving to make your players better every day. 1% better here, 1% better there. And as coaches, we have to continue to strive to be better every single day and model the behavior that we want our players to eventually adapt and attain as well, from a standpoint of how you handle adversity. And it's not easy. It is not easy. And there's moments where you have to find and look at yourself in the mirror and go, all right, and remind yourself constantly, this is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm here. And you got to have the support system. You talked with Janet down there and Jory for Coach Choate. I've got my wife over there, Carrie, and
shout out Carrie,
over there eating some pizza right now, and my young son Kyson and daughter Ava. And
hey guys,
again, it's that support system behind you that continues, that you've got them behind you and pushing you and reminding you of who you are and what you're all about.
Well, I always say the best thing about sports is they're played by people. So I like that we get to share that. And I like that your families are here. I mean, that makes it cool. We're going to have Keaton Crawford and Tori Daffin on next. Do you want to stay up with those guys? We got 3 mics.
Hey, you can you chaperone.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make sure that
it's not required, but
yeah. I'll be up here just to have some fun with them.
Okay, K-9 everybody. We're going to take a quick timeout. Keaton Crawford, Tori Daffin from the defensive backfield, we might have said back in the day, for the Pack joining us after this. Wolfpack Coaches Show live from Brew Brothers from Learfield. Back live, Wolfpack Coaches Show live at Brew Brothers inside the El Dorado, downtown Reno. John Ramey with you, Nevada at Boise State. Kickoff coming up at 5 o'clock Pacific this Saturday. Broncos, the number 12 team in the nation. We are joined right now by Tori Daffin and by Keaton Crawford. Sorry, I usually have you guys introduce yourself, so you go ahead. Give me your full name, your position, and your year.
I'm Keaton. Say it again.
Your name, your position, and your year.
I'm Keaton Crawford. Play safety here, and I'm a fifth-year senior.
Okay.
Tori Daffin also plays safety, and I'm a fifth-year senior too.
Okay. Now, Mike Edwards broadcast the game with me. Mike, right here. Mike, how much have we enjoyed the elevation of skill, of performance in the secondary this year, and particularly watching these two guys, right? It's been absolutely, it's leveled up. Coach Ione, can you speak on these guys and their journey with the Wolfpack and how they've helped improve the unit?
Yeah, no, I mean, they've helped me at the end of the day, and that's a huge deal from a standpoint of these guys, whatever I ask of them, they try and do and go above and beyond and try and model, again, the standards and the behaviors that we want for our young guys, both guys being seniors. They're trying to establish a foundation and legacy that will last a long time here, and that's a special deal, and they do a tremendous job of working at that every single day.
That's awesome. Keaton Crawford, you are from Tyler, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Earl Campbell, I'm sure you've heard of, right?
Yep.
Tyler Rose.
Okay. All right.
You played at the University of Texas.
Yes, sir.
That's quite a journey in football. What does the game mean to you, and how does it relate to where you come from?
I mean, it means a lot. I grew up with two older brothers that played football, so I just fell in line with them. So I just picked it up from them.
Is there a player that you liked or that was inspiring to you, and you said, I want to play safety like that guy?
Buda Baker for sure. Yeah, just because of his size, he just plays with a lot of heart. So pretty good player.
Pretty good player.
Yeah.
Torrey, Ozark, Alabama, East Central Community College. Where's East Central?
It's in Decatur, Mississippi.
Decatur, Mississippi. Okay, and then you went to Carroll High School. You were a 3-sport athlete in high school: football, basketball, baseball. What was your best sport?
Football.
Football was your best sport?
Yes, football was the best.
What did you play in baseball?
I was center field.
Center field.
Yeah.
Were you good?
I was all right.
You all right? What about basketball?
Yeah, I was a shooter. I could shoot. I could play defense. So yeah, I was pretty good at basketball also.
Can you still play?
Yeah.
Like, are you probably the best basketball player on the team?
I wouldn't say that, but I'm one of the best.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Who else can hoop?
Definitely not Keaton.
Not no.
Yeah, they said coach pretty good, so I want to see what he got. My time up here.
Wait, Kane, you hoop?
I'm okay.
You're okay?
But yes,
Are you being modest?
I'm looking forward to the challenge in the off season of especially the older guys, getting them on the hoop court, and we've got a little noon game with the coaches that we participate in and try and stay in shape. So we're going to invite some players to participate in the coaches' noon hoops.
Oh my
and see
goodness!
See who's truly got some skill.
Well, that leads me to my next question, because hoops is always good for trash talk, right? Who's the best trash talker in your opinion? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Got to be Torrey. Yeah.
Anything? Sorry, there's one rule about broadcasting is you can't swear. Can you maybe share some talk that is your favorite kind of go-to phrases? And if you've got to edit, that's fine. I'm not trying to get you in trouble.
It just got to happen in the moment.
Really?
Yeah,
It's spontaneous.
Yeah, when I step on the field, I'm in a whole different mode. So off the field, I'm like a nice guy. And stuff.
I know. I'm actually a little surprised.
Yeah.
Like, Keaton, did you expect him to be a big talker?
Not at all.
Not at all. When did you first hear it?
I think it was like a second game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Something just went on. It's just a whole different guy. Yeah. It's funny though.
What about you?
Me, I'm just I let my game talk. Honestly, I don't really get into the trash talk.
Don't let them fool you there. Every
Really?
once in a while, you'll see it. You'll see it.
Depends on the situation I'm in, but tend to stay focused.
Now, but where did you get that sense of you let your playing talk, like you don't want to talk?
It's just how I was always in, like as an athlete, just me playing ball. Was never that guy. I was just always humble about my game. So.
I'm not saying either's better, right? Because again, people have hot takes about trash talk and celebrations, and I'm like, unless you played the sport at this level, you have no idea how you'd react if you made, if you returned the ball 52 yards for a touchdown or intercept, like just unbelievable moments of excitement. So I don't want to cast judgment on how anybody reacts to the game. What's your favorite part, Torrey, of game day?
Just having the opportunity to go out there with my brothers and compete and go against someone else.
Keaton?
Just the feeling of it. Just put on my helmet and the fans and just the environment. Just it's one of a kind, honestly.
How's preparation been for this week? This is a high-profile game.
It's been pretty good. It's a pretty good opponent that's coming up this weekend. So I mean, we're preparing pretty good. Well,
Torrey?
Yeah, like he said, at the end of that, we prepare. It's all about us. We're not really, we know who our opponent is and stuff, but at the end of the day, we know we got to do our job and the little things.
Okay, well, I already asked about the best trash talker. Who in how do you break it down? Like, you just talk defensive backfield or specifically safeties? Like, what's the group that I should ask? Because the question is, who gets the ox?
the ox.
Yeah.
Tour.
Really? 2 for 2?
I'm a big country guy though, so I mean it depends who want to listen to country and stuff.
Old or new?
Kind of new.
Kind of new?
Some everything.
You like country music?
Yeah,
Love
yes, sir.
that. Keith, who do you listen to?
No, I don't like country at all.
No, not for you? All right, do you guys need to shout out anybody?
No.
Any shout outs you good? All right.
Yeah.
Are you sure, guys?
I'm pretty impressed. These guys are pros.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity to shout out to somebody.
My mom, thanks for
There you go.
doing
There you
everything
go.
for me. You
Good
know,
job,
my
Keith.
stepdad as
Good
well.
job.
You know, wouldn't be without him, so appreciate him.
Yeah, also I'll shout out my parents because wouldn't be here without them, and I also want to shout out my girlfriend because I know she's watching.
Oh, there you go.
There it is. There it is.
Give it
There
up,
we go.
everybody. Keaton Crawford, Tori Daffin, Kane Ione. Great job, guys.
Appreciate it.
We'll take a timeout. We'll wrap it up from Brew Brothers Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. Welcome back inside Brew Brothers at the Row. We're wrapping it up. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show. Thanks to Jeff Choate. Thanks to Tori Daffin. Thanks to Keaton Crawford. Thanks to defensive coordinator Kane Ione. Somerset Golf and Country Club offers pristine playing conditions, the best greens in northern Nevada, and a relaxing clubhouse. We've got an all-new menu at the grill. Membership start at $300 a month. Go to somersetgolfandcountryclub.com. somersetgolfandcountryclub.com. Also, work part-time in the Nevada Air National Guard. Serve close to home. Enjoy military benefits like 100% tuition assistance, bonuses, low-cost health insurance, and more. Google up Nevada Air National Guard. Contact a recruiter today, 775-788-4545. Okay, you have your assignments. 4 p.m. Pacific, Bud Light Tailgate Show from Boise. Mike Edwards and me start at 4. Mike Edwards and I start at 4. And then 5 o'clock Pacific kickoff from the Blue Turf. Mike will regale us with stories of the Feathers. Tune in to hear about the Feathers on the Blue Turf. And then 7 o'clock Saturday night, the Wolfpack basketball team is at Lawler. Listen to Alex Margulies call the action because I'll be with football. So big weekend ahead. Thanks everybody for being here. Have a great night. So long from Brew Brothers.